Okay, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Bexar County Court Law number 6 and the Bexar County Veterans Treatment Court plea and motion to revoke probation docket. Today is Wednesday, May the 5th, 2021. It is approximately 10 minutes after 2 p.m. And the cases we have set today for motions to revoke probation are State of Texas versus Lauren Bamba, 615207. And State of Texas versus Justo Gonzalez Ismerio, cause 611800. The pleas we have set today are State of Texas versus Dwayne Palmer, cause 645088. State of Texas versus Sergio Constante, cause 635591. State of Texas versus Salman Hani, cause 623643. State of Texas versus Rolando Reyes, cause 633701. State of Texas versus Devin Moore, cause 647583. State of Texas versus Michael Chow, cause 646357. And State of Texas versus Albert Garcia, cause 655898. And State of Texas versus Minor Chavez Argueta, cause 63680. Pardon me, 633680. Representing the state in all matters is going to be Ms. Alexis O'Connor. Representing the Bexar County CSCD for the motion to revoke probation will be Ms. Susan Gross, who I will swear at this time. Please raise your right hand, Ms. Gross. Do you swear the testimony you are about to give to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir, I do.
Thank you. First case we're going to take up is cause 615207, style State of Texas versus Bamba. Ms. Bamba is represented by Ms. Alma Benavides. Are you ready to go forward at this time, Ms. Benavides?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Ms. Bamba and Ms. Benavides, the first document I need you to identify your signatures on is entitled Defendant's Consent to Motion to Revoke Hearing by Video Conference. Ms. Bamba, is this your signature on this document, ma'am?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. And Ms. Benavides, as attorney for Ms. Bamba, is this your signature on this document, ma'am?
Yes, it is, Your Honor.
Okay. This is a first amended motion to enter adjudication of guilt and revoke community supervision. It's my understanding this is an uncontested motion to revoke. Would that be accurate, Ms. Benavides?
Yes, it is, Your Honor.
Okay, Ms. Bamba, in cause 615207, on the first amended motion to enter adjudication of guilt and revoke community supervision, how do you plead, ma'am?
I plead no contest or guilty to the charges.
Options are pleading true or not true. And I say true with an explanation.
True.
Okay, true with an explanation. Is that
Sure. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
That's no problem. Is that okay, Ms. Benavides?
Yes, sir.
Yes, Your Honor, that's correct.
True to all, an explanation. All right. Ms. Gross, would you please advise the court and the parties of the status of Ms. Bamba's probation in cause 615207?
Yes, Your Honor. Ms. Bamba has performed very poorly on probation in that she has skipped 13 months of her probation. We've not seen her since November 24th of 2020. She has paid only $50 towards her fees, has a balance of $859. However, it is my understanding that a payment of $250 was made today, but it is not yet posted to her account. So I have no proof of that. We have no proof of any of her 30 hours of community service having been completed. She was ordered to do a theft class. I was provided a certificate this morning. She did complete a MIC evaluation. She was then referred for a MIOF evaluation, and she failed to appear for that evaluation. She's had a total of 9 positive drug tests, 3 for marijuana, 3 for opiates, 3 for methamphetamines, amphetamines, and 6 failure to show for drug testing when she was told to go. It is my understanding that at some point during these UAs, when there were positive tests for methamphetamines, amphetamines, that she was on methadone and antipsychotic medication. The probation department is recommending revocation. Also, the defendant did self-admit herself to a residential facility in Austin She did not notify the court before doing this. She was there for apparently 45 days. And she admitted herself on December 23rd of 2019. And the name of that program was Infinite Recovery.
She has all my stuff.
Okay, defense, do you have any comments and/or what are your requests?
Yes, Your Honor. Ms. Bomba completed, according to my records, 81 days of treatment at Infinite Recovery. She was admitted
The 20th.
January 20th, and she was released April 10th of 2020. She did make a $200 payment towards her fees today. She did provide me today with the certificate of completion of the anti-theft class. And on this case, she has 17 actual jail credit days. So we are asking the court, I've conferred with the state, and obviously we can't, the court is going to decide however the court feels would be appropriate, but it's my understanding that the state would not be opposed to revoking and giving her time served and taking into consideration cause number 659472, which is a failure to ID.
Ms. Gross, does Ms. Bomba have any prior offenses?
Let me double check, Your Honor. Additionally, Your Honor, she, this is her third violation report and her third MTR, and her fine amount is a total of $300. As for a prior criminal history, I am showing a theft 50 to 500 that was dismissed on deferred adjudication. And then she has this case, and then the fail to ID that she's awaiting on that the attorney just advised you of at this time.
Okay, here's my problem, Ms. Benavides and Ms. Bomba. Let me get a few more cards on the table. Ms. Bomba, you self-referred yourself to some sort of program in Austin. Was this an inpatient program where they lock the door and the windows and you can't leave?
Yes, sir.
Right.
Well, it was a levels to it, basically, like different phases. The inpatient, the partial hospitalization, the outpatient, and then so on and so forth.
And
Like sober living and stuff like that.
how long was the actual inpatient phase of this program?
I was in inpatient for close to 2 months. Like we were out on a ranch in Liberty Hill.
And did you have insurance that paid for this? How were you able to pay for this?
My mom and dad actually paid for it. And I was advised to do this by the person that I had met with that told me about the MyOff evaluation, because she told me they were going to put me in Safe P. So that's why I went to Austin.
And I guess this is
Judge, if I may, that would be incorrect. Safe P is only for felons.
That's what I was told. I mean,
Not as Saturday.
Your Honor, I think
maybe a misunderstanding. Yeah.
Okay, the time frame that you went to inpatient and then I guess outpatient afterwards, which we would call
Yeah, it was direct.
aftercare, I think probably in the program. That was all during the time frame that you had stopped reporting to your probation officer in Bexar County. Does that sound right?
My counselor was in contact with her. Like my counselor actually spoke with my probation officer. Like while I was there, they were in contact with each other. They knew I was there. The only thing I did wrong was not report when it came back.
Gross, do you have any confirmation on the fact that Miss Bomba's inpatient rehabilitation counselors in Austin attempted to contact your office or did contact your office and anyone there?
Judge, we do have a letter from this treatment facility stating that Miss Bomba was there. But the court was never notified. Just double checking my scanned documents here. One second. I believe it was only through emails that we were made aware of this, Your Honor. And it would take me just a minute to run those records.
Okay, well, don't worry about that aspect of it. Are you familiar with this particular rehabilitation program in Austin? Is it one that we would give credence to and say it's a good program, or are you have any knowledge of that?
Judge, I don't have any knowledge of that, but it appears that the department is now going to start utilizing this program.
In Austin, correct?
I'm not sure if there's one here or if it's in Austin, Your Honor.
I apologize. Tell me the name again of this program.
Infinite recovery.
Okay, well, the cards are on the table. We're dealing with marijuana, methamphetamine, and heroin. I think anybody that knows about rehabilitation knows that I'm glad Ms. Bomba volunteered for this. I'm all for people getting as much rehabilitation as they can get. She erred in not herself contacting her probation officer and letting them know what was going on. I understand that for the people at her facility did contact the Bexar County Probation Office. That's confirmed. That's no problem with that. It was not brought to my attention, but even if it had been, technically you needed my permission to go do this. Now, I'm not disparaging the fact that you at least reached out to someone and did something. In my opinion, after 43 years of doing this on one side or the other, that's not long enough time and a long enough program to assist you in the way you think about utilizing or being addicted to heavy drugs like heroin. Are you interested in staying on probation with us and volunteering to go for 120 days to our substance abuse treatment facility or our mental illness offender facility, which they've renamed and I don't know the name? Anyway, and continue your inpatient rehabilitation with us, or is that not something you'd be interested in? Ms. Bomba, did you get my question?
It looks like she's frozen, Judge.
Oh, I think you've been frozen. Ms. Bomba, if you can hear. I don't know, Pat, do you know what the fix is on this? Does she need to sign off and sign back on?
She may have to sign in and sign out, Your Honor. I have no idea.
Ms. Bomba, on ours. Oh, there we go. We got.
Yeah, that's something I can't fix on my side.
You want me to try to send her a text?
Sure, if you would.
All right, thank you, Judge. I'll be right back. Okay, she's having trouble with her phone, but she says she's trying to get back onto Zoom.
Okay. I'll let you know as soon as I see her coming in.
Let's give her a little bit and see if you can get on again quickly.
Of course, Judge.
Anybody need time to go get a drink, use the restroom, go call mom and tell her you love her, that sort of stuff? Now's a really good time to be doing that.
She's coming back. I'm admitting her now.
Hey, Miss Bomba, welcome back. Can you hear me?
She's still connecting her audio, Your Honor. Now she's there.
Miss Bomba, can you hear me? The microphone is turned off.
Yes, I'm so sorry. My phone died. I'm so sorry.
That's okay.
All right, here's the question I asked you before you got zoomed somewhere else. In my opinion, and probably the probation officer's opinion, and probably the state's opinion, we'll see. You need more inpatient rehabilitation to change the way you think about using heavy drugs like heroin and meth. A whole lot more fun to be at. Let me finish real quick, and then you can tell me whatever you'd like. It's a whole lot more fun to be at inpatient rehab than it is to be in jail, is my experience. What is your position on whether or not you would be willing to undergo some more inpatient therapy?
I can't. It doesn't do good things for my mind. I'm in a better place than I was back then. It's been a while. My youngest daughter's dad had just killed himself. I was extremely lost. I didn't know which way was up, and I was self-medicating. And I'm at a place in my life where I'm trying to get my girls back in my life. I'm about to start a new job. And I actually want to experience life instead of going through it numb the way that I was. And she's not wrong. I was on methadone back then. Methadone is like a horse tranquilizer. It's the worst thing ever. So whenever I kicked that was what I did whenever I went to rehab. So they did help me a lot. I mean, it definitely did wonders for me. It was just fear. Whenever I came back, I was so afraid of coming back and getting arrested for being in Austin. And then when I was there, I was worried that this was going to be the outcome. Why the mistake of not going directly and telling all that I came back? Kind of like put my head in the sand type of thing. But I understand that I have not done a great job at this probation. And I do understand why it needs to be terminated, but I need this part of my life to be closed. That way I can move forward, because it's keeping me in this spinning cycle of just anxiety and worry constantly. And I just want to be able to look forward and move forward and have my girls in my life again, have a semi-normal life again.
Okay.
I appreciate.
Let me jump in here. My interpretation of your answer is you are not interested in going to any more inpatient rehabilitation. You feel like you've had enough and you don't need any more. Does that sound right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And even if the option was going to jail or going to inpatient, you would rather go to jail? Is that what you're telling me?
I mean, I feel like in the charges that I had for this case, I should have more. It should be something that is done. You know, I've been to jail multiple times for this for a long time. And it's like, it's a Class B misdemeanor. I just ask that I just ask that it be terminated, even if it's unsatisfactorily. I understand that. But I definitely don't belong in jail. And I'm doing much more good out here than I would be in there. So
okay.
Yeah.
Records reflect that you've got 17 days in jail credit on this case and 5 days in jail credit on the new failure to ID case. Does that sound right, Ms. Benavides?
Yes, Your Honor, that's exactly the amount that she has. And again, we're asking the court to terminate her case unsatisfactorily and give her credit for the time that she has served. And I believe the state would still be in agreement to TIC the new case, which is 659472.
Okay, state, I'm in a position at this point to revoke Ms. Bomba's probation, find her, or defer to adjudication probation, find her guilty of the offense of theft, 100 to 750. Give her credit for her jail time she's already had. Give her credit for the time she volunteered without permission and attended inpatient and outpatient in Austin. So the probability is I would assess her 90 days in the Bexar County Jail. She's been very clear with us. She is not interested in any more inpatient rehab. And the drugs I'm dealing with are the heaviest drugs we have in our society. Heroin, methamphetamine, that sort of thing. What is the state recommendation?
Judge, I agree with defense on this one.
But I'm sorry.
I agree with the defense on this one, Judge.
Okay. Ms. Bombon, cause 615-207. The court accepts your plea of true to all conditions on the motion to revoke probation with an explanation. I grant the state's motion to revoke your deferred adjudication probation. I adjudicate you guilty of the offense of theft, $100 to $750. I sentence you to 90 days in the Bexar County Jail, a $2,000 fine plus court cost credit for time served, time and money to run concurrent. You'll report to the Bexar County Jail at 9:00 a.m. on Monday, the 10th of May, 2021. You'll get credit for all the time you spent in jail. And obviously I only gave you 90 days instead of the full 180 I could have given you, and giving you credit for the time that you voluntarily spent on inpatient and outpatient rehabilitation in Austin. State, do I have your permission to take into consideration cause 659472, the failure to ID that is still pending?
Correct, Judge.
Taking into consideration cause 659472, which is granted, and it shall be dismissed. Anything further from the state or the defense on Ms. Bomba?
Yes, Your Honor.
Go ahead.
I have provided the state, and I've also provided probation with a letter from Infinite Recovery that indicates that she served 81 days in their facility. So I'm asking the court to state for the record that she already had 81 days credit for the inpatient rehab. In addition to that, she has 17 actual days in the Bexar County Jail. So she's got a total of 98 days if you're giving her credit for the rehab and Bexar County Jail. So I'm asking the court to consider this a judgment satisfied.
Okay, now Ms. Bomba told me she didn't do 81 days actually inpatient. She did 2 months, like 60 days inpatient. Is that not what you told me, Ms. Bomba, or do you know exactly how much time you spent inpatient versus out?
The whole time I was there, I was under their care. Like they were coming and picking us up from the sober house and driving us to classes, even whenever we weren't just in inpatient. Like we would move to different phases, but we were still in the program.
Okay. Well, Ms. Benavides, she's getting, obviously, from me up front, 90 days credit because I didn't give her the maximum sentence of 180 days. That you know me very well and know that I would normally give under these circumstances. I'm giving her credit for making some good decisions in her probation and for attempting to assist herself in her rehabilitation, but she's not competent to make final judgment on what is in her best interest if you're a heroin addict. So I'm sorry it's that way, but it's that way.
So for clarification, Your Honor, is it your order that you're not going to give her credit for any of the 81 days that she served?
She's going to get credit for time served, time and money to run concurrent, and I assume that's going to talk about the 22 days that she has in jail on these two cases. The other 90 days that I could have given her on the original sentence, I'm withholding because she did do plus or minus 90 days in some capacity during rehabilitation, whether that was actually inpatient or outpatient or whatever it was. I'm still giving her credit. So she's getting credit for 90 days plus 22 days. She's to serve 90 days. She will probably get 3 for 1. I don't know what the quotient is. You're welcome to call the sheriff and ask him. This is not something that you just tap her on the wrist and say, have a nice day, you did good, because she didn't do good. And I'm very happy that she's still alive. But I want to keep her alive in the future, and I don't think she's been rehabilitated to the point where she's able to do that, and she may not go back on drugs. And that's why I want her to go into inpatient, but she doesn't want to do that. So my options are limited after that.
Okay, but how many days are you actually giving her? What is the order?
90 days is a sentence.
Okay.
And it will
And
be,
you're giving,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
so you're giving her 90 days and you're giving her credit for 90 days at the rehab, and then you're giving her 22 days?
Okay. In my mind, a maximum sentence for her offense is 180 days. You agree?
Yes.
All right. I could give her 180 days right now, but I'm not. I'm giving her 90 days because I know she did plus or minus 90 days voluntarily in Austin in some ritzy inpatient rehab or outpatient or both. And so I'm glad she did that, but she did that without our permission. She could have gone to SATF or she could have gone to MyOff for free, and she didn't want to do that. She went AWOL on us for, I guess, a year plus or minus. I'm not going to reward her for taking care of her own rehabilitation, so to speak, when we could have done it here. She still gets credit for the 90 days she spent in Austin, because I could give her 180 days. And if you want to do it that way, we can do it that way. I can say I'll give her 180 days and I'm going to give her credit for time served. And I'm going to include the time she spent in Austin in rehab and the 22 days approximately she has as a combination in addition of both cases, this one and the pending FTA. But in the end, it's not going to make any difference. It's going to come out the same.
I think, okay, I understand.
Your Honor, may I ask when she's supposed to show up?
Let's show up 9:00 a.m. this coming Monday, which will be the County Jail.
Thank you, Your Honor. Just so I can let the clerks know.
Do you have any questions, Ms. Bamba?
I don't.
All right.
Crystal.
Good luck to you. Thank you, Ms. Benavides.
Thank you, Judge.
Okay, we have one more motion to revoke. This is cause number 611800, State of Texas versus Justo Gonzalez Ismerio. This is a first amended motion to enter adjudication of guilt and revoke community supervision. Representing Mr. Gonzalez Ismerio is Mr. Aaron Diaz. Mr. Diaz, are you ready to proceed at this time?
Yes, Your Honor.
I have a document for you all to identify your signatures on for me. Mr. Gonzalez Ismerio, I'm looking at a document entitled Defendant's Consent to Motion to Revoke Hearing by Video Conference. Is this your signature on this document, sir?
Yes, Your Honor, it is.
Thank you. And Mr. Diaz, as attorney for Mr. Gonzalez Ismerio, is this your signature on this document, sir?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. My understanding, Mr. Diaz, is this is going to be an uncontested motion to revoke. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay. Mr. Gonzalez Ismerio, on the first amended motion to enter adjudication of guilt and revoke community supervision, how do you plead, sir?
Not true with an explanation, sir?
True with an explanation, fair enough. Ms.
True,
Gross,
She said not true.
oh, defense, over to you. Here's how this not true business works. If he wants to plead not true, he can do that. We can have a, quote, full-blown uncontested hearing, which we can't do today, I don't think, which pretty much means you'll probably have exactly the same witnesses that we have today, who is Ms. Gross. Or you can still plead not true and come to me as the truer of fact with regard to determining whether something is true or not. So that's up to you guys. What would you like to do?
I'm sorry. Yeah. Just true with an explanation. I don't know why I mentioned not true. True with an explanation, Your Honor.
Okay, so Mr. Gonzalez, you're entering a plea of true with an explanation to all the allegations. Does that sound right?
That's correct, Your Honor.
And Mr. Diaz, as attorney for Mr. Gonzalez Ismerio, is that your understanding of what he intends and wants to do?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, Ms. Gross, who I inform is still under oath, would you please advise the court and the parties of the status of Mr. Gonzalez Ismerio's probation?
Yes, Your Honor. This is the defendant's fourth violation report, second motion to revoke. His reporting has been fair. We last saw him on April 6th of 2021. He had 3 missed appointments, which were addressed at his last motion to revoke. His case is paid in full. I show that he has not completed any of his 48 hours of community service. He has completed DWI education and victim impact panel. I show no proof of completion of the CATSNP program. He's had 1 negative drug test. He's failed to submit on 2 occasions. He had 1 prior positive for alcohol that was addressed in February and his conditions were modified. He's currently on Smart Start Mobile testing 6 times a day. And he has had 32 skip tests. The probation department did send a violation report back in March, on March 12th. And the court graciously did not sign a warrant on the motion to revoke and instead altered and amended the conditions of probation, ordering him to submit to weekly drug testing. The defendant never signed those conditions stating that they were excessive. And to date, he's never signed those conditions. And I did provide that email to the court and to the district attorney's office. And he has already had one extension on his probation. And therefore, we are recommending that the judgment be reformed, he be found guilty and placed on regular probation.
Okay, defense, you sent over, I believe, 4 documents,
Yes, Your Honor.
which I have reviewed. State, did you receive these 4 documents by email today?
Yes, Judge.
Have you had a chance to review them?
Yes, Judge, I was able to review.
Basically, what I got out of that was that Mr. Gonzalez Mario recognized that he had a severe drug alcohol problem. Although he wasn't honest with us, he was honest with the VA and told them that he was having problems with alcohol, methamphetamine, and cocaine on November 24th, 2020. And I'll ask both the defense counsel, Mr. Diaz, and Mr. Gonzalez Mario exactly what he did with the VA. It looks like he volunteered to live at the DOM, which is kind of an outpatient live-in rehabilitation program. Is that correct, Mr. Gonzalez Mario?
That is, Your Honor. That is correct. Yes, it was a 6-week inpatient program that I advised my probation officer. The courts were aware of it. Previously, I had another attorney that provided those documentation to the court. Upon completing the DOM Ops program at the VA Serena through the VA, Your Honor, I was completed. The only other item that I needed for you guys to get outpatient that during COVID 2019 to 2020 was not, they weren't really available. I did complete the outpatient, 12 weeks outpatient recently. And I don't know if that had been provided to you, but I believe the warrant was out due to the only urinalysis that I missed was an alcohol related one. And I went back and I guess it was another alcohol. It was not drugs. And I am aware about that. There was a document sent to me, Your Honor, that I did not sign. I was seeking for more of my attorney for advice on that. I did mention that I thought it was excessive since I never really been in trouble this much. For almost 2 years, I've been with the mobile start device, and I've went from 1 year of probation, completing everything except for the outpatient treatment, Your Honor. And due to my mental health, I did decide to advise my probation officer and the courts that I was going to go inpatient due to I was having suicidal, not just ideation, but thoughts. And I completed, not like I said, inpatient, outpatient, and I'm willing to continue finishing what it needs to. I'm in a better place mentally. I'm getting continuous 1 monthly help with a psychologist of my PTSD. I've been diagnosed with PTSD, chronic PTSD, depression, and anxiety for the past, since 2017. I was medically retired after 21 years, the Army, with mainly for my PTSD symptoms were not getting better, being multiple deployments. So I am willing to continue, and I want to continue. I think I'm in a better place. I'm currently not employed. I'm currently considered a homeless vet because I don't have a lease, a home. I lost basically everything after this DUI. I lost my fiance. I lost my house. I lost, visitation rights with my son. So I was not in a good mental state the past year and a half. That I feel like I've put myself in the best position where inpatient, outpatient, continue physical, I'm doing a course for getting my CDL driver license right now. So I'm kind of putting myself in a position where I'm redeeming myself from the mistake I did on April of 2019 of driving while intoxicated, Your Honor. I'm also taking naltrexone shots, more accountability that reduces the effect of me wanting alcohol to self-medicate. I personally believe that I am in the right position to continue and finish the modifications that were addressed. It's the only reason I started the course. I mentioned to my PO that I was not available to attend weekly urinalysis. I didn't have the budget for that. I was either paying the Smart Start of $100, and I'm kind of behind with 6 months of unemployment benefits that I reached out to my Texas State representative, and they gave me an answer that I should be receiving some funding in the near future. I'm also, again, this is the last month I'm staying with a friend of mine where I need to find a new place to live. And hopefully upon completing the course by May 21st of my CDL, I should have a job that would help me have some benefit, funds, to be able to meet the required, monthly, as I had agreed on, monthly urinalysis, which I had no problem with, Your Honor. So I just hope you could understand and see that I'm in a better place now, mentally and physically, actually.
All right, let me ask you, clarify this for me. In the Veterans Administration in Bexar County, Via Serena has a 28-day inpatient program, and then they have the DOM, which is much longer. It's probably 60 days or something, probably. It's not really inpatient, but it's a live-in rehabilitation program, and they call it the DOM. Correct?
Yes, Your Honor. So it was 60 days, but due to the COVID, they only made it to 42 days. I completed 42 days with them, Your Honor.
You actually go through the 28-day inpatient program at Via Serena also?
Yes, I did.
Okay, and I did not
No, I was there inpatient for 45 days, Your Honor.
Okay, you got to listen to my question because I understand this is confusing. There are two separate programs at Via Serena at the Bexar County Veterans Administration. And one is called their inpatient 28-day program, and you can't leave, and it's all inpatient, and you sleep probably in like a barrack scenario you're probably familiar with. And the other is DOM, which is a little richier because you get your own room and you live in a community of other people who are going through the same rehabilitation.
Yes.
Whatnot you are. So
yes, Your Honor.
You actually go to the 28-day inpatient program and then go to the DOM?
No, Your Honor. They actually had combined it. When I showed up there, they said that they were not longer doing the 28 days. It was only 45 days. But due to COVID, they only allowed me and the rest of the members there to do 42 days for that particular. And then upon graduating, I completed a 12-week outpatient treatment program as well. And all the certificates, all the notes from VA, my PO has, I believe has been forwarded to the courts and to you, Your Honor. So
I believe you sent all those to us. Mr. Diaz, that's what I'm looking at. This is a very long document, and it goes over a lot, 2 or 3 months at a time.
Yes, Your Honor.
Whatnot with Mr. Gonzalez Mario by VA counselors. Does that sound right?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. All right. So you did not go to the 28-day inpatient program, but you successfully completed the 42-day DOM residential program. Does that sound right?
That's correct. That's correct. Your Honor.
Mr. Gonzalez Mario, you are an American military veteran. What did you do in the military, sir?
I was infantry in the Marine Corps. I continued to be infantry in the Army. I was in the Marine Corps, was in the Army. I was also a diesel mechanic. I was also an airborne. I did quite a bit. I deployed.
Go ahead, sir.
Deployed to Afghanistan in 2012, 2013, and then I deployed to Iraq in 06, 07. I deployed to Kosovo in 1998, 1999. So I did 21 years of service, sir. I just was retired in 2019. A lot of my PTSD is currently right now is just my identity coming out of the service, being separated from it's been tough, sir, Your Honor. I lost a friend just due to suicide. One of my best friends he committed suicide back in June of 2020. 2020, and it just really has put an impact on me. Get to see his family and kids, no longer seeing them, and it's the hardest thing. And I have a 6-year-old son. I'm a father. I have joint custody of him. He lives in the North Austin area, sir. So I'm doing this for myself. When I went inpatient, I knew that I needed to do this for myself. The outpatient also completed was something required. I know I needed for the courts, but I was thankful that you, Your Honor, were able to approve that I would go inpatient. And I'm in a way better place, Your Honor. So I appreciate the opportunity that I'm here right now, and just trying to continue to finish this part of my life. It's been obviously since this DUI happened, April 2019. It's almost 2 years, and it seems to think the anxiety and so forth of not meeting what I'm supposed to, or where I need to be at certain times with the mobile device. But I know it's required. I know what I need to do, and I've never finished anything that I didn't start. But it's been hard mentally for me. But I am still continuing to seek help with the DA. I have once a month. I visit my psychologist. I take my medications. Like I said, I'm being more accountable. The naltrexone shots that I get are to prevent alcohol cravings. I do that once a month. I show records of that. I provide those injections every the 6th of the month or so forth. There are those documents, and knowing that what I did, I put myself into getting into a CDL driver license, which I currently have a permit. I'm almost done with the course, Your Honor, so I could have a job. I could provide a letter from a company that's willing to hire me upon graduating from that course here, hopefully May 21st. And, just kind of put myself in a position where I know that it would affect my career, my new career. Some of the truck driving companies are now allowing any service or anybody, any service members that they have a program, an apprentice program, because if they're on probation, they cannot leave the state. So I know it hinders a little bit, but I know I could work towards that or ask for your help in any matter. But I really appreciate the opportunity to just finish this thing strong. And I'm doing that.
All right, let me jump in here. How many years were you in the Marine Corps?
6 years, John.
6 years in the Marine Corps. Why did you switch to the Army?
The job opportunity. I wanted to go into the MI field. The Marine Corps field was very, very, very limited. Upon coming into the Army, I stuck in with the infantry still, but then one of my last, I would say, my last 7 years in the Army, I worked in the Army G2. So personnel security, MI. I did all the security clearance for all personnel, either starting at Fort Hood and then at Fort Sam. So I did all the basically SF-86 packets for security, top secret security clearances. Anybody that was revoked or suspended, I helped them get back their security clearances, mitigated those factors and so forth. So
stop you there, and I'm going to give you some surgical strike questions. You spent 6 years in the Marine Corps. What was your highest rank?
Yeah. In the Marine Corps, I was an E5, but when I got out in the Army, I got out as an E6, Your Honor.
And what was your highest rank in the Army?
E6, Your Honor.
And you spent 6 years in the Marine Corps. How many years in the Army did you spend?
14.
And then you retired at 20 years. Does that sound right?
About 21 and 6 months, Your Honor.
Okay. Thanks for your service. Do you have a VA disability percentage at this time?
I am 100% disabled, Your Honor.
So how much money do you get every month?
About $3,300. It's what I received, Your Honor.
Okay. And you have children?
I do have a 6-year-old, yes, Your Honor.
And does he or she live in town in San Antonio? Where do they live?
He lives in a small town called Hutto, Texas. It's kind of like 9 miles east of Round Rock, Texas, Your Honor.
I got you. You get a chance to see him very often?
I do. On the 1st, 3rd, and 5th weekends, I have my standard visitation rights with my son, Your Honor. Yes, I do.
And you tell me you went to jump school at some point in there?
Yes. One of my last years, what was it? When I was here at Camp Bolus, I served my last 5 years at Camp Bolus as an airborne trooper.
Let me back up. You were a what?
An airborne trooper. I was with the sustainment group, airborne trooper there.
What year did you go to jump school?
2014.
And they didn't send you to
I'm sorry?
They didn't send you to the 82nd?
No, Your Honor, but we were attached to the 82nd due to I was with the active guard at the time, active National Guard. I was AGR, so I was able to go to jump school, but we were attached to Fort Bragg, 528 unit out of Fort Bragg. Yes, Your Honor.
But it was the Texas Army National Guard, correct?
That's correct. I was AGR for them, Your Honor.
Oh, good. How many jumps you got?
5.
Attaboy.
I just made it, Your Honor, and I was 34 years old when
Yeah, that was.
I was 34 years old trying to keep up with 18-year-old kids, and I did it, Your Honor. So
2 tours in Afghanistan, 2012, 2013. Does that sound right?
06, 07 Iraq, 012, 013 in Afghanistan, Your Honor.
So how much time on the ground do you have in Iraq, and how much time on the ground do you have in Afghanistan?
1 year on ground in Iraq and 9 months on ground in Afghanistan.
Did you get wounded?
Just mentally,
All right,
but not physically.
I understand. Anyway, thanks again for your service. That's a lot. All right.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Let me get this answered, and I'm going to ask the defense counsel and the state what their recommendations are going to be on your situation.
Yes, Your Honor.
A big problem we're having with you is your me first attitude. And obviously I wasn't there and I don't know what words were spoken, but what's being related to me by the probation officers are that you didn't like it when I cranked up your Smart Start mobile blows from 4 blows a day to 6 blows a day. So you just didn't blow on a machine and you missed 32 blows or something. Then I put you on weekly UAs and you refused to go because you didn't want to go and you said you couldn't afford it. Well, you're making $3,200 a month, $3,300 a month. You can afford it. So that's not an issue. So it's just the fact of you saying no, that you're not going to cooperate, even though you had 20 years in the military. I don't understand it. What's the problem?
No problem, Your Honor. Honestly, the only thing was that I started to school April 5th when they upped the weekly urinalysis, and the classes started from 7 to 5. I did talk to the PO. I said that I wouldn't have any issues. That it's just the fact. One, yes, I do have to pay other bills, Your Honor, my child support and so forth. I had no problem. The only thing is that I was lacking on funds. Yes. I was stressed out. Yes. I was depressed. Yes, because I don't have a place after this month. But I'm looking forward to that now. I'm going to get some unemployment benefits pretty soon, from my understanding. Now, I have no problem. The only thing was that the course I had to complete due to the VA. I have to complete the 4 weeks full or 6 weeks full without missing any hours on that, or else the VA won't pay. That was it, Your Honor. I have no issue, but completing. I mean, I did mention it was excessive because I didn't understand as to just because I missed one, and I wasn't drinking. It was. I was not drinking. I felt like it was after that freeze, I took some medication. I felt that was it because I was taking it daily. I wasn't blowing on it. It wasn't coming as a violation or anything. So I didn't think nothing of it. But until I went I provided a specimen. They told me go back 48 hours. I went back and they provided a specimen. That was no problem at all, Your Honor. And I understand if it was dirty, it was dirty, but it was not for drugs. It was for apparently alcohol. But I think it was just the medication I was taking.
Let me stop you there. I apologize for interrupting again, but we got a bunch of people waiting to do other stuff. And
yes, Your Honor.
I think I'm getting all your cards on the table. So what you're telling me is, even though you didn't cooperate with the probation department and me before, you're willing to do it now. Is that what you're telling me?
Yes, Your Honor. Of course. Yes.
Right. Okay. Another question. You're whining that you got to be homeless and you don't have any money, but you're making $33 a month. That makes no sense whatsoever. Why are you homeless making $3,300 a month? Explain that to me.
Well, I do pay rent. I do pay child support. I do pay a truck payment. I do pay of bills.
Is that correct? You're not homeless. Right now,
I'm the
apartment or somewhere to go home and go to sleep. You're not homeless. You're not on the under a bridge.
That's correct. No, because of the VA asking me if I had a lease. They're considering me a homeless vet, and I tried to get into those programs, but they want to put me in a shelter. I'm lucky enough that I do have a friend that has offered me a place to stay. So, hopefully, with this unemployment benefits, I did receive a letter saying that I'm entitled to even up to September. It's just that the funds have not gotten to me yet, Your Honor. And hopefully, they said I contacted his representative. And they mentioned that soon, within the next week or so, I should receive not only just a back pay. I actually made a claim already online that it wasn't allowed to be before. And hopefully within the next week, they said that I should receive something, Your Honor. So
I apologize again for interrupting you, but you got to understand, I just need to get the facts. That's all I need. And I understand you like to talk and that you've got a long story and all that stuff. And I got it. So anyway, I don't want to cut you off. You really want, I'm going to give you an end at the end to say it. but I got 100 people waiting to do other stuff. So I need to pin you down on surgical strike answer. Right now, as we speak, you're not homeless. Do you agree?
I do agree on that. Yes.
Defense, what are you requesting? Here's my problem with Mr. Gonzalez's Mario. In the past, he's telling me he's going to change his ways. In the past, he didn't follow probation orders or my orders. Of course, I set order probation to give them to him. And alcohol we're dealing with. I think he's probably winning the battle on alcohol. I'm still very concerned about priors of methamphetamine and cocaine. Defense, what can you tell me about all that? Now, he's done good. He's volunteered to do stuff. He did not go to the VA inpatient, but the DOM is good. So I'm all for that, and I give him plus 10. So defense, what is it you're requesting? And tell me anything else you'd like to tell me about Mr. Gonzalez's Mario.
Yes, Your Honor. I have spoken with Mr. Maru with the state, and I believe we are in an understanding for Mr. Gonzalez to continue on probation with the zero tolerance and monthly UAs. I think Mr. Gonzalez summed it up perfectly on his story. I couldn't have put it any better. He has done the necessary steps to better himself, and he seems to be on the right path. Our hope is that he continues down this path and is able to turn his life around. And I think this trucking school business and starting this new career will help him towards that goal and establishing a better relationship with his son and just overall a life for himself.
Okay, I'm going to be real clear with everybody. Mr. Gonzalez's Mario is not getting a truck driver job and driving to Detroit tomorrow. It's not happening.
No.
So while he's on probation with us, if at the end of our conversation he stays on probation, Ms. Gross, how much longer does he have on this probation? Put in a perfect world and he stays on.
Judge, he was extended to February 12th of 2022,
Okay, so we've got
almost a year.
July, August, September, October, November, December, January, February, almost 8 months. That sound right? 9 months?
Yes, Your Honor.
Long time. State, what do you got?
Judge, it's the state's position that doing anything other than letting this defendant continue on the path that he's on could send him on a downward spiral. So we would recommend continuing on probation with zero tolerance and monthly UAs and continue on Smart Start Mobile.
Okay, Sergeant Gonzalez Mario. Are you retired United States Army? Is that correct?
That is correct, Your Honor.
Do you have a military retirement or just a normal retirement and then a VA disability?
That's correct. I did finish over 21 years, but yes, it's a retirement. Yes.
Okay. Here's what's going to happen. You're going to have to pay $350 a month for a scram bracelet for at least 2 months. If you do well in 2 months, a scram bracelet goes on your leg and monitors your alcohol intake 24 hours a day. Okay?
Okay.
Because you won't blow in my Smart Start Mobile. Now, at least you didn't before. Now we might have a new game, but I'm not giving you another chance for that. If you volunteer to go on a scram bracelet and pay $350 a month for at least 2 months, if you do well for 2 months, I'm going to take you off the scram bracelet and put you back on the Smart Start Mobile at 4 blows a day. Okay? Before you were doing 4 and then you violated and wouldn't blow and I had to put you on 6, then you really didn't blow. So you've got a bad history on Smart Start Mobile. But if you volunteer to do those at least 2 months on the scram, if you violate, it's going to be longer than 2 months. That's up to you. All right. Ms. Gross, what do you recommend on a continuing outpatient program for Mr. Gonzalez Mario with the department? I don't have access to his VA records and stuff. I don't have any control with the VA. So he could be doing good or he could be doing bad, and I'd never know unless he wanted me to know. So what?
Judge, you had ordered him to CAT-SNP, and we don't have proof that he ever even enrolled. So we would recommend that he be enrolled in that program within 5 days.
Okay, well, I'm not mad at him for that because he was doing VA stuff voluntarily. So we're okay on that. But I want him to be on a county program that's probably aftercare from his rehabilitation program when he lived at the DOM living facility deal. So what do you recommend for that? What do we have? Intensive outpatient?
Intensive outpatient, and CATS does offer that. I believe it's about $450. Let me look. I'm sorry, it's $695. Whereas if he goes through the department, he would have to go through a TAP evaluation, and you know the history of that. And some, none, or all, depending on the evaluation, may be paid for by the department. And after completion of that, then he would go into like an aftercare type program.
Okay. What other programs has he not done other than the CAT SNP program on his regular probation? He's done the DWI Ed and the Victim Impact Panel, correct?
Correct. He was only assigned those 3 classes.
And he's paid in full, I think, up to this point, correct?
Yes, Your Honor. He is paid in full.
All right. So in a perfect world, if I put him on Scram for a couple of months and he shows you and the state he can do that, we can put him back on Smart Start, basically start over and give him Community Alliance for traffic safety, intensive outpatient, and he finishes that properly and we don't have any issues. He'll just have a nice life and graduate. Would you agree?
Yes. And then as long as he stays out of trouble for the term of probation, then he would be able to terminate February 12th of next year.
Did he already actually do community service on his probation, even though I would probate it because of his military service?
No, Your Honor. I didn't realize he was in the military and that it had been probated. That has been corrected in his file.
All right, we're good on all that. All right. So here's my offer to you, Mr. Gonzalez, Mario, and Mr. Diaz as the attorney. I'm going to take away his deferred. I'm going to find him guilty of DWI. And I'll put him on regular probation. Basically, he starts over. He's going to need to be on a Scram bracelet within 10 days. I mean, like right now, as we speak, are you still blowing into your Smart Start mobile device, Mr.?
That is correct, Your Honor. I am.
Okay. So, Susan, we don't have any recent problems with that you're aware of?
No, Judge, we do. As alleged in the motion to revoke, I believe it was 8 skip tests, or I'm sorry. Yes, it was 8 skip tests. And then the amended motion that was filed yesterday went from March 18th to April 18th, and he skipped 24 tests.
All right. Well, we're not doing Smart Start right now. So we're giving Mr. Gonzalez, just because he was a Marine and we all know what that means. You know, he's a little slow and we're going to have to be with Mr. Gonzalez. Now, then he sharpened up over the years and went to the Army and figured it all out. So good for you.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. So you're going to be on Scram bracelet for 2 months. That's going to cost you $700 total, plus or minus. You're going to have to go to the intensive outpatient program. I'm going to want you registered for that within 10 days of today. You may not start classes, but you'll be registered. That's going to cost you plus or minus $700 at some point in time. For the state request, you're going to be on 0 tolerance. And as a military guy, you're always on 0 tolerance. So that's not a hurdle for you. We're probating your community service hours. Don't have to worry about that. Susan, what am I missing?
Are you also going to require him CAT SNP or no?
Your Honor, if I may, I believe that was amended to allow to allow him to complete the Veterans Treatment Program.
Yeah.
Let me back up about the VTC. Go ahead.
The judge is starting him all over, so he's got all new stuff that he's got to do. And I was merely asking if he was going to add CAT SNP back in.
And I'm not, because he's already done the equivalent when he did the DOM. So we're good on it. We're just doing follow-on stuff, make sure we don't forget all the lessons we allegedly learned at the DOM.
Your Honor, on the intensive outpatient, I was wondering if the VA has a program. I'm pretty sure that I could attend through that as well. I'm in constant contact with my psychologists and the counselors there.
Tell you what, you and your attorney, check that out for me, because if we can save you $700, here's my problem with the VA. You're going to have to sign a medical authorization so I can, my probation officer, not me, can call them, find out if you're really showing up for treatment. You know what I'm talking about?
Your Honor, I have provided that form to my current probation officer that she could request documentation as she needs from the particular facilities or particular dates and so forth.
Does that work with you guys? If he signs it over so that y'all can call the VA and check up on what he's done or not done on his continuing rehabilitation program, is that something that would work for the probation department? Saves him $700. That's exactly right. You're right on the money on that one.
Right.
I'm not currently having a job.
Judge, I would rather leave the IOP as a condition. And if he finds a VA equivalent program within the next 10 days, then we could alter and amend his conditions. But at this time, I'd like to leave the IOP in place until we find a equal program through the VA.
Mr. Diaz, that's what we're going to end up doing. I want to save you money if that's possible. I don't have any problem with the VA being involved. I just don't have the ability to check up on him and see if he's showing up or not. That's my concern with using the VA. So if we can get around that, I mean, he's obviously he showed up at the DOM. You sent me his graduation certificate, you know, so.
Yeah, I provided, it's just, I have provided to my PO, Your Honor, the form that she can request any dates that I've gone to the VA for any documentation, injections, anything that I do. She has the authorization to do so.
All right.
Okay.
Mr. Gonzalez is Mario and cause 611800. The court accepts your plea of truth, all conditions on the motion to revoke probation with an explanation. I grant the state's motion to revoke your deferred adjudication probation. I adjudicate you guilty of the offense of driving while intoxicated, first offense. I sentence you to 6 months in the Bexar County Jail, probated for 1 year. What was the original fine amount on this, Susan?
$600, Your Honor.
$100 plus court costs, 48 hours community service, probating all that based on your military service. Either community lines for traffic safety, intensive outpatient, or a VA equivalent course approved by the court. And that needs to be done in the next 10 days, please. Zero tolerance pursuant to the state's request. DWI Ed, you've already done. DWI Victim Impact Panel, you've already done. You think you paid probably most of these costs. I'm gonna put you on weekly UAs that you didn't participate in the other day for me. And if you show me 4 clean weekly UAs, no heroin, no, exotic substances, that kind of stuff. Anyway, show me 4 clean ones. I'll put you back on monthly UAs, okay? But for right now, you're going to be on weekly UAs starting today. And the Scram business, I'm putting you on Scram. I'm telling you up front, if you show me 60 days clean on Scram, I'll take it off and put you on a SmartFare Mobile again. But if you start missing blows, I'm not going to fiddle around in the future. You've already burned up all your Lucky Charms. So if there's any problems, you can just start packing your toothbrush or you're going to jail. We understand each other?
I understand, Your Honor. I appreciate
No
that.
hard
Yeah.
feelings, just business. But that's what's
Right.
wrong. All right. State, what did I miss?
That's it, Judge.
Your Honor, if I may, Mr. Gonzalez and Mr. Diaz, because this is a new probation, I am going to have to send you a probation application with a new data sheet that will be sent to you after we get off of Zoom.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, and as for probation, you need to fill those out and return them ASAP. And then you will be hearing from the probation intake department within 48 hours in order to do your new orientation, okay? They're gonna go over all your new programs, give you your new referrals, you're gonna sign all your documents. It will most likely be done via Zoom, okay? If for some reason you don't hear from them by 4 o'clock on Friday, then first thing Monday morning at 8 o'clock, you need to call the intake department. And let me give you that phone number. It's 210-335-7446. Explain to
All right.
them that you were put on probation today and you need to find out when your orientation date is, okay? It's your responsibility. If you fail to do so, they're gonna let me know, I'm gonna let the judge know, and you're gonna be right back here with another warrant, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, do you have any questions, sir?
No, not at this time.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Mr. Gonzalez is Mario. The only reason you're not getting ready to go to jail is because A, you're a combat veteran and a war hero, and B, you got the best lawyer in town. So hang on to both of those and you'll be fine. Fair enough?
Yes, Your Honor.
Any luck?
Thank you for
You and I will never speak again. Will that be a good thing?
that. Would be a great thing, Your Honor.
Fair enough. Good luck to you, sir.
Thank you for your service, Your Honor. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right.
Judge, may I be excused?
You bet. Thank you.
Thank
Maybe
you.
excuse, Your Honor.
Have a good day.
You betcha. Thank you, sir. All right, we're gonna take a 5-minute break so I can get reorganized for our pleas, and then we're gonna do multiple pleas at the same time. So get ready for an exciting afternoon. Okay, ready to proceed? And Pat, are you there? We lost Pat. Mike,
I'm here. I'm here.
Mike still here with us?
Mike should,
Mike, are you with us? Hello?
I'm here. I'm here.
All good. Just want to wake you up. Okay, at this time, we're going to do pleas. I've got cause 645-088, Data Texas versus Dwayne Lee Palmer, represented by Courtney Daly. Are you ready to go forward on the plea at this time, Miss Daly?
Yes, Your Honor, we are.
I got cause 6355591, State of Texas versus Sergio Constante, represented by Suzanne Kramer. Ms. Kramer, are y'all ready to proceed?
We are, Judge.
You cause 623643, State of Texas versus Salman Haqqani, represented by Ms. Ann Burnham. Ms. Burnham, are you ready to proceed?
Your Honor, my name's Karen Wieters. I'm a student attorney. Ms. Berman's my supervising attorney, so I'll be representing Mr. Haqqani today.
That would be great. Thanks for your help. And cause 633701, State of Texas versus Rolando P. Reyes, represented by Mr. Jeffrey Martinez. Mr. Martinez, are you ready to proceed?
You're ready, Your Honor.
Thank you. First document I need y'all to identify signatures on is entitled Defendant's Consent to Plea by Video Conference. Mr. Palmer, in clause 645088, is this your signature on this document, sir? Can you hear me, Mr. Palmer?
Yes, sir. I'm sorry. I was on mute. Yes, sir, it is.
Not problem, sir. Thank you. Is this your signature on this document, sir?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. And Ms. Daly, is this your signature on this document?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. 63551, Mr. Constante, is this your signature on this document, sir?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. And Ms. Kramer, attorney for Mr. Constante, is this your signature on?
Yes, Judge.
If you're not actually talking to me, make sure you turn your mics off so we don't get any background noise. Thanks for your help. Mr. Haqqani, in clause 623643, is this your signature on this document, sir?
Yes, sir.
Attorney for Mr. Haqqani, is this also your signature on this document?
Yes, sir.
And clause 633701, Mr. Reyes, is this your signature on this document, sir?
Yes, Your Honor.
You and Mr. Martinez, as attorney for Mr. Reyes, is this also your signature on this document?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, defendants, the next document I'm looking at is entitled Defendant's Waiver of Constitutional Rights and Court's Admonition that purports to have your signature on the back, effectively waiving certain constitutional rights you must waive in order to enter a plea before this court. In fact, Mr. Palmer, is this your signature on this document also, sir?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Mr. Constante, is this also your signature on this document, sir?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Mr. Haqqani, is this your signature on this document also, sir?
Yes, sir.
And Mr. Reyes, is this your signature on this document also, sir?
Yes, Your Honor.
By signing this document, are each of you telling me that you've had enough time to either read this document or any questions on this document? Those questions were answered to satisfaction by your attorneys, so that in signing this document, you're telling me to read it and understand everything on this document.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Mr. Constante, can you hear me, sir? Is
Yes.
that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Is that correct, Mr. Haqqani?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Is that correct, Mr. Reyes?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. As attorney for Mr. Palmer, have you had enough time to go over this case with him? And in your opinion, is he mentally competent? Ms. Daly?
Yes, Your Honor, I've had time and I believe Mr. Palmer is competent.
Same question for Ms. Kramer as attorney for Mr. Constante.
Yes, Judge.
Same question for attorney for Mr. Haqqani.
Yes, Your Honor.
Same question for attorney for Mr. Reyes, Mr. Martinez.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Okay. Ms. Palmer, are you a United States citizen, sir?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Constante, are you a United States citizen, sir?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Mr. Haqqani, are you a United States citizen, sir?
Yes, sir.
And Mr. Reyes, are you a United States citizen, sir?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Ms. Daly, as attorney for Mr. Palmer, has the state fully complied with discovery for you on this case?
Yes, Your Honor.
Same question for Ms. Kramer, as attorney for Mr. Constante.
Yes, Judge.
Same question for Ms. Burnham, for the attorney for Mr. Haqqani.
Yes.
Thank you. Same question for Mr. Martinez, as attorney for Mr. Reyes.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, let's see.
Jacqueline.
Mr. Palmer's case, he started out as a DWI greater than 1.5. So state, do you have a motion on this case?
Always going to be the 896.
Yes, Judge.
Hold
Mr.
on, I have
Martinez, can you mute your mic, please?
We're moving to waive the greater than 1.5 enhancement. Is that correct?
Yes, Judge.
Yeah, today it's Judge Rodriguez.
Judge, we got someone who doesn't know that they're on, that they're not on mute.
It's Jeffrey Martinez.
I can tell you. Hold on, Sarah.
There we go.
There we go. Judge,
We move to waive the greater than 0.15 enhancement on this section from the defense that will be granted. Therefore, to the charge of driving while intoxicated, first offense, Mr. Palmer, how do you plead, sir?
No contest.
Thank you. Is there an agreement, Mr. Palmer?
6/12, a $500 fine plus court costs, 50 hours of community service, DWI education, DIP, CATSNP, Smart Start Mobile for half the term, and a Texas driver's license suspension for 180 days.
And defense, is that your understanding of the agreement?
That is my understanding of the agreement, Your Honor.
I'm sorry, is that yes?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Palmer, and cause 645-088. Court accepts your plea of no contest to the offense of driving while intoxicated. First offense, I find you guilty. I said 6 months in the Bexar County Jail, probated for 1 year. A $500 fine plus court cost, 50 hours of community service, DWI education course, DWI victim impact panel, Community Alliance for Traffic Safety, new intervention program, outpatient drug course, Smart Start Mobile Home Interlock for 6 months, and 180-day Texas driver's license suspension. Anything further from the state or the defense on Mr. Palmer?
Nothing further from the defense, Your Honor.
Okay. Good luck, Mr. Palmer. Pat, do you want to explain what he needs to do on probation stuff?
Yes. Okay. Anybody who is granted probation, the probation office will contact you within 48 hours. If they do not contact you within those 48 hours, you need to call them. And I need y'all to get a pen and paper so that I can give you the number. If not, attorneys, please do that for your clients. The number is 210.
I'm sorry, can you hold on 1 second? I'm about to grab a pen right now.
Sure.
I've got it, Dwayne. I'll write it down and I'll text it to you.
There you go.
Okay, thank you.
210-335-7200 and ask for intake. And that will be your responsibility. If you have not heard from them in 48 hours, you need to call.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, we're ready to proceed on Mr. Constante.
Yes, Judge.
All good. Mr. Constante, cause 635-591 to the charge of interfering with the duties of a public servant. How do you plead, sir?
You need to unmute yourself, Sergio.
No contest.
Thank you, sir. Is there an agreement for Mr. Constante and 635-591?
There is, Judge.
1 day in the Bexar County Jail, $200 fine plus court costs, credit for time served, time and money to run concurrent, and TIC cause number 635589, and we ask this be a JSAT, Judge.
That is the agreement, Judge.
Okay, Mr. Constante, cause 635-591, the court accepts the plea of no contest to the offense of interfering with the duties of a public servant. I find you guilty. I said 1 day in the Bexar County Jail, a $200 fine plus court costs. Credit for time served, time and money to run concurrent, taking into consideration cause 635-589, which is granted and it shall be dismissed, judgment satisfied. Anything further from the state or the defense on Mr. Constante?
Nothing from the defense, Judge.
Good luck, Mr. Constante. Thank you, Ms. Kramer.
Thank you. Maybe be excused. Thank you.
Okay.
You, jury, you can leave.
State and clause 623643, State of Texas versus Salman Haqqani. Apparently you have a motion.
Correct, Judge. The state moves to add a count 2 of obstruction, waive count 1, and proceed on count 2.
State is moving to amend the information adding paragraph 2. There's the obstruction of a highway, no objection to the defense, that shall be granted. Then state is moving to waive count 1 and the enhancement and proceed on paragraph 2, obstruction of a highway, no objection from the defense, that will be granted. So, Mr. Haqqani, to the charge of obstruction of a highway, how do you plead, sir?
Guilty.
Thank you, sir. Is there an agreement for Mr. Haqqani?
12 months deferred adjudication, an $850 fine plus court costs, 36 hours community service, DWI education, DIP, CAD SNP, and Smart Start Mobile for half the term.
Your Honor, I'm sorry, we can't hear you.
Test 1, 2, 3. How copy over?
That's better, Judge.
All right. This is my understanding. The court accepts Mr. Haqqani's plea of guilty to the offense of obstruction of a highway. Although I have enough evidence to find him guilty, I'm going to withhold a finding of guilt, place him on 1 year deferred adjudication probation, assess an $850 fine plus court cost, 36 hours community service, DWI education course, DWI victim impact panel, Community Alliance for Traffic Safety, new intervention program, outpatient drug course, and the Smart Start mobile home interlock for 6 months. Anything further from the state or the defense on Mr. Haqqani?
Yes, Your Honor, I believe that we had worked out that we were going to defer $200 of the fine.
Well, this is a bargain. If the state gives me the discretion to probate any money of the fine, then I need to know about it. But normally this is just plea bargains and whatever y'all agree to it is. State, where are we at on money?
Judge, I believe we did agree to probate $200.
Well, wait, hold on 1 second. What did you read the fine out? The fine out as, Judge?
$850.
Okay, I thought I corrected that on the plea paperwork. I just took off 200 and made it 650, but that's fine. We can probate it on the record. What is the obstruction paperwork actually say?
Good point. Well, the document I got from Connor, it was $850. Doesn't show probating stuff. But that's not a problem. Hang on.
Nick, did you do the obstruction paperwork?
I did do the obstruction paperwork.
So you probably put 650.
I think I put, yeah.
Agreeable to all the parties. Let's just make it easy and make the fine $650. That be okay with the state?
Yes, Judge.
That's okay with you?
Absolutely. Thank you, Your Honor.
$650 plus court cost. Anything else from the state or the defense on Mr. Haqqani?
No, Your Honor.
Good luck, Mr. Haqqani. Thank you, Ms. Burnham, and everybody else over at St. Mary. Well done.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. You have a motion and call 633-701, State of Texas versus Orlando Reyes.
The state moves to waive the enhancement and proceed as a DWI first.
Judge, I can't hear you.
Test 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. How now?
Okay.
Crank up my sound and see if that does any better for you. Okay, the state is waiving the greater than 0.15 enhancement. No objection from the defense. That will be granted. Mr. Reyes, it costs 633-701 to the charge of driving while intoxicated. First offense. How do you plead, sir?
I plead no contest, Your Honor.
Thank you, sir. Is there an agreement for Mr. Reyes?
6/12, a $500 fine plus court costs, 36 hours community service, DWI education, DIP, CAD SNP, and Smart Start Mobile for half the term.
Your Honor, from defense, if I may.
Yeah.
Okay, it's almost a he's a 67-year-old, Your Honor, veteran. We're just asking for the probation fees to be at the minimum. It is a court-appointed case. He is getting disability from the VA and SSI as the only form of income. And being 67, we also ask if he can make a donation to the Wounded Veterans Program that you have for his 36 hours of community service.
All right, let me back up. Mr. Reyes, are you an American military veteran?
Yes, I am, Your Honor.
What did you do in the military, sir?
I was a signalman and construction battalion, Seabees.
In the Army or in Navy or where?
Navy, U.S. Navy and U.S. Naval Reserve.
How long you spend in the Navy, sir?
I did 4 years in the USN and 6 years United States Naval Reserve.
I can't punish him any worse than he's already punished himself being a member of the Navy. That's as bad as it gets. That was a joke, sir.
Yes, sir.
Thanks for your service, sir. We're going to probate his community service hours, Mr. Martinez, based on his military service, so that won't be an issue.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, let me tell you what I got, and then tell me if we need to modify it. The court accepts Mr. Reyes' plea of no contest to the offense of DWI first. I find him guilty. I assess 6 months in the Bexar County Jail, probated for 1 year, a $500 fine plus court costs, 36 hours of community service, probating all due to military service, DWI education, DWI victim impact panel, Community Alliance for Traffic Safety and Intervention Program, and Smart Start Mobile Home Interlock for 6 months. Anything further from the state of the defense on Mr. Reyes?
For defense, Your Honor, just ask for the probation fees to be at the court allowed minimum.
For Mr. Reyes and every other defendant in County Court 6, supervisory fees are already set at the statutorily lowest rate of $25 a month. Ask anybody over at probation, I'll tell you how much I'm hated, and because of that, they don't like me to be so nice to all you defendants, but that's the way it is. So, are we good? Reyes?
Yes, sir, Your Honor.
That's right.
Reyes, thank you, Mr. Martinez. Okay, next
You
back.
know you need to call within 48 hours if they don't contact you.
I'll send them the phone number as well.
Thank you so much, Mr. Martinez.
Okay, next batting order. I've got call 647-583, State of Texas versus Devin Lamont Moore, represented by Martin Hunt. Mr. Hunt, are you ready to proceed at this time?
Yes, Judge, we are.
Thank you. I've got call 646, State of Texas versus Michael Chow, represented by Jeffrey Hole. Mr. Hole, are you ready to proceed at this time?
Judge, I apologize. My client just contacted me during this hearing and asked me a question that I believe I need to address before he takes a plea. It doesn't have it's not really about whether he's going to take the plea, but it's something that just came up. And I think that if I don't discuss it with him prior to the plea, it may be an issue.
If we reschedule tomorrow afternoon at 2, would that work for you?
I think that would give me time to talk with him and discuss kind of what's going on. So yes, sir.
Schedule you for tomorrow afternoon at 2, and if that doesn't work for you, let Pat know, and we'll reschedule some other time.
Okay, thank you, Judge. I'm sorry.
I will send you both the link
Not a problem.
after we're finished.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, let's see. I've got 655-898, State of Texas versus Albert Garcia Jr., represented by Mr. Jeb Locke. Are you ready to proceed at this time, Mr. Locke?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. And lastly, I've got clause 633-680, State of Texas versus Minor Chavez Argueta, represented by Christopher Alonso. Mr. Alonso, are you ready to proceed?
You are, Your Honor.
Thank you. On each of these 3 cases, I'm now going to ask the defendant and the defense counsel whether or not this is their signature on a document entitled Defendant's Consent to Plea by Video Conference. Mr. Moore, is this your signature on this document, sir? Mr. Moore, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Is this your signature on the document, sir?
Yes, sir.
All right. And Mr. Hunt, as attorney for Mr. Moore, is this your signature on this document?
It is.
Thank you. Mr. Garcia, clause 655-898, is this your signature on this document, sir? Mr. Garcia, make sure your microphone's turned on, sir. There you go.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you, sir. And Mr. Locke, as attorney for Mr. Garcia, is this your signature on this document, sir?
It is, Your Honor.
Thank you. And clause 633-680, Mr. Chavez Argueta, is this your signature on this document, sir?
Okay.
Is that yes?
Yes.
Thank you, sir. And Mr. Alonso, as attorney for Mr. Chavez Argueta, is this your signature on this document, sir?
That is correct, Your Honor.
Thank you. Defendants, the next document I'm looking at is entitled Defendant's Waiver of Constitutional Rights and Court's Admonitions, that purports to have your signatures on the back, effectively waiving certain constitutional rights you must waive in order to enter a plea before this court. In fact, Mr. Moore, is this your signature on this document in clause 647-583?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. And Mr. Garcia, is this your signature on this document in clause 655-898?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. And Mr. Chavez Argueta, is this your signature on this document, number 633-680?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. By signing these documents, or each of you telling me that you've had enough time to either read these documents or have them read to you in their entirety. If you had any questions about what was on these documents, those questions were answered to your satisfaction by your attorneys, so that in signing these documents, you're telling me that you agree with and understand everything on these documents. Is that correct, Mr. Moore?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Is that correct, Mr. Garcia?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Is that correct, Mr. Chavez Argueta?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. As attorney for Mr.
Yes, sir.
Moore, as attorney for Mr. Moore, Mr. Hunt, have you had enough time to go over this case with him? And in your opinion, is he mentally competent?
I have, Your Honor, and yes, he is.
Thank you. Same question for Mr. Locke,
Yes, sir.
Mr. Garcia.
Yes, Your Honor.
Same question for Mr. Alonso, as attorney for Mr. Chavez Argueta.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Moore, are you a United States citizen, sir?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Mr. Garcia, are you the United States citizen, sir? Garcia, are
Yes,
you-
sir.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yes.
Thank you, sir. Chavez Argueta, are you a United States citizen?
No, sir.
You are not. If you are not a citizen of the United States of America, a plea of guilty or nolo contendere for the offense charged may result in your deportation, your exclusion from admission to this country, or the denial of naturalization under federal law. Mr. Chavez Argueta, have you discussed with your attorney and been made aware of the mentioned consequences? And are you still now knowingly wanting to plead to this offense?
Yes, sir.
All right. Mr. Alonso, as attorney for Mr. Chavez Argueta, have you had the ability to discuss with him the possible problems he may encounter with regard to his immigration status if he enters a plea to this crime?
I have, Your Honor, and for the record, I have satisfied the requirements under US v. Padilla, and I am his immigration counsel as well.
Wonderful. Okay. As attorney for Mr. Moore, Mr. Hunt, has the state fully complied with discovery for you on this case?
They have, Your Honor.
Thank you. Same question for Mr. Locke, as attorney for Mr. Garcia?
They have, Your Honor.
Thank you. Same question for Mr. Alonso, as attorney for Mr. Chavez Argueta?
Yes, Your Honor.
Let's see. Here's Mr. Moore. State, have you got a motion on 647-583, State of Texas versus Devin Lamont Moore?
Yes, Judge, the state moves to add a count 2 of obstruction, waive count 1, and proceed on count 2.
Okay. At this time, the state, I only back up. At this time, in clause 647-583, the state is moving to amend the information and add a paragraph alleging obstruction of a highway, we'll call paragraph 2. No objection from the defense, that will be granted. Then the state is moving to waive paragraph 1, alleging the original offense, driving while intoxicated, first offense, and no objection from the defense. Once again, that will be granted. So, Mr. Moore, in clause 647-583, to the charge of obstruction of a highway, how do you plead, sir?
No contest.
Is there an agreement to Mr. Moore?
Yes, Judge. 6/12 plus a $750 fine, but we need to probate $200 of that, which needs to be corrected on the obstruction paperwork. Plus court costs, 36 hours community service, DWI education, DIP, CATSNP, and Smart Start Mobile for half the term.
That is our understanding of the agreement, Judge.
Clause 647-583, the court accepts your plea of no contest, defense of obstruction of a highway. I find you guilty. I said 6 months in the Bexar County Jail, probated for 1 year, a $750 fine, probating $200 of that, plus court costs, 36 hours community service, DWI education course, DWI victim impact panel, Community Alliance for Traffic Safety, New Intervention Program, Outpatient Drug Program, and Smart Start Mobile Home Interlock for 6 months. Anything further from the state of the defense on Mr. Moore?
Nothing from the state, Judge.
Nothing from the defense, Judge.
Mr. Moore, do you understand what's going to happen with probation, or you need Ms. Benavides to go over that with you again?
I understand.
All right, all good. Y'all are dismissed. Thanks for your help.
Thank you, Judge. Have a good one.
And in clause 655-898, State of Texas versus Albert Garcia Jr. There are no motions. Okay. Mr. Garcia, to the charge of driving while intoxicated, first offense. How do you plead, sir?
No contest.
Okay, your paperwork says guilty. I don't care anyway. I don't think the state. Do we change your paperwork to guilty to no contest? Mr. Locke, would that be adequate?
Yeah, I need to advise him to plead no contest. Yes, sir. Please accept the no contest plea.
Greatly, we're going to change on the defendant's waiver of constitutional rights, of course, admonition. What is now saying guilty to no contest. State any objection to that?
No objection, Judge.
Great. So the defendant entered a plea of no contest to the offense of DWI.
Judge, you're breaking up. I couldn't hear what you said.
Mr. Garcia?
Oh, yes. 1/1, a $500 fine plus court costs, 48 hours community service, DWI education, DIP, cat snip, Smart Start Mobile for half the term, and restitution, if any, to Rosemary Robles and Fred Charles Free and SAC Construction.
Back up. His original charge is driving while intoxicated with a blood or breath alcohol content of greater than 0.15. Everybody agree on that?
Correct.
And that's not being reduced to DWI first. He's pleading to DWI greater than 0.15. Everybody agree to that?
Correct.
Once again, administratively on the waiver of constitutional rights, DWI greater than 0.15.
Judge, you're breaking up. You're gonna have to repeat. You're breaking up on all that.
I'll try to say it again. Pat. On administratively, on the document titled Defendant's Waiver of Constitutional Rights and Court's Admonition, right now it says, I understand that I am charged with the offense of driving while intoxicated. What it should say is, I understand that I am charged with the offense of driving while intoxicated greater than 0.15.
Okay.
And then we're changing guilty to no contest. That's the only modification we're making that document. Defense, is that okay with you?
It is, Judge.
Is that okay with you?
Yes, Judge.
All good. Let's try again. So Mr. Garcia, pleading no contest. The offense of driving while intoxicated with a blood or breath alcohol content greater than 0.15, I find you guilty. I assess 1 year in the Bexar County Jail, probated for 1 year, a $500 fine plus court cost, 48 hours community service, DWI education course, DWI victim impact panel, Community Alliance for Traffic Safety New Intervention Program, outpatient drug, Smart Start Mobile Home Interlock for 6 months, and restitution, if any, to Rosemary Robles and Fred Charles Free and SAC Construction. That be correct, State?
Correct, Judge.
And would that be correct, defense?
It is, Judge.
Okay. Anything further from the State or the defense of Mr. Garcia?
Nothing from the defense, Judge.
Like Mr. Garcia. Mr. Garcia, do you understand what to do on probation if they don't contact you?
Excuse me?
Do you understand who to call if the probation department does not contact you?
Yes.
All right. Okay. Thank you. Good. Okay. Clause 633-680. Was this case originally filed as obstruction of a roadway and not a DWI?
I believe it was filed as a DWI, Judge.
So was it filed as a DWI first? Did everybody agree?
I believe so.
Thank you.
Yes, Judge. The state moves to add a count 2 of obstruction, waive count 1, and proceed on count 2.
No objection from defense, Your Honor.
Let me do a little right here. Does your information on this case already have a paragraph 2? Is that correct?
Let me see. No, Judge, there's no paragraph 2.
Adding paragraph 2 alleging obstruction of a highway.
Correct.
That will be granted. And then you're waiving paragraph 1 alleging DWI. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, so Mr. Chavez Argueta to the charge of obstruction of a highway or roadway. How do you plead, sir?
No contest.
And is there an agreement for Mr. Chavez Argueta?
12 months deferred adjudication, an $850 fine, but $350 of that is probated. Court costs, 48 hours community service, DWI education, DIP, CAD SNP, and Smart Start Mobile for half the term.
And defense, is that your understanding of the agreement?
That is, Your Honor, and we would just like the record reflect that DWI Ed and CAD SNP have been completed and tendered.
Okay.
Your Honor, we would also like to approach the court on the 48 hours of community service to see if a monetary donation to the Wounded Warrior Program or any program of the court's choosing be made in lieu of due to the current pandemic.
Sure. I think our primary concern is special operations of Wounded Warriors, but that would be fine.
Thank you, Your Honor.
At $10 an hour, and just let the show the probation officer your receipt or whatever, and he'll get that probated. All right, so let me back. Mr. Chavez Argueta, the court accepts your plea of no contest to the offense of obstruction of a highway. Although I have enough evidence to find you guilty, I'm going to withhold a finding of guilt. Place you on 1 year deferred adjudication probation. He says an $850 fine, probating $350 of that plus court costs. 48 hours community service, DWI education course, DWI victim impact panel. Community Alliance for Traffic Safety New Intervention Program outpatient drug course, and Smart Start Mobile Home Interlock for 6 months. Anything further from the state or the defense on Mr. Chavez Argueta?
Nothing further from the state.
Nothing further from defense counsel, Your Honor.
Good luck, Mr.
Okay, and Mr. Alonso, you have the phone number to probation. Thank
Yes,
you. sir.
no, it's already, I got you, Pat. Thank you.
Thank you.
No problem. Thank you, Pat.
Hey guys, thanks. You're dismissed.